December 1st, 1948. As the first light of dawn broke over Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia, a couple on their morning stroll noticed something unusual. A man lying against the seawall, his head resting on the slope as if gazing at the ocean. His legs were extended straight, and his feet were crossed. A half-smoked cigarette rested on his collar, as if it had fallen from his lips. The man was impeccably dressed in a suit and polished shoes, unusual attire for a beach visit. The couple assumed he was sleeping off a late night. But when they returned hours later, the man hadn't moved. Not an inch. The uncomfortable truth slowly dawned on them. They weren't looking at a sleeper. They were looking at a corpse. This discovery would launch one of the most perplexing cases in criminal history, a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. A man with no identity, a coded message no one could decipher, and a phrase from an ancient poem that seemed to whisper from beyond the grave. Tamam Shud, meaning it is ended. But what exactly had ended, and why? These questions would haunt investigators for generations to come. When authorities arrived at Somerton Beach, they expected a routine investigation. Yet, as they examined the scene, peculiarities began to multiply. The unknown man carried no wallet, no identification, no personal papers, nothing that could reveal who he was. His clothing tags had been meticulously removed. Detective Sergeant Robert Lean of the Adelaide Police Department recalled, "I never seen anything like in my career. Everything that could identify him had been deliberately removed. It was as if someone wanted to erase this man from existence." The autopsy revealed even greater mysteries. The man's spleen was 3 times normal size. His liver was distended with blood. His stomach contained a massive amount of congealed blood, suggesting he had been poisoned. Yet no known poison was detected in his system. The pathologist's conclusion was stark: death by means unknown. A thorough search of Australian missing persons reports yielded nothing. Fingerprint checks against national and international databases returned no matches. Dental records offered no clues. It was as if the man had never existed before washing up on Somerton Beach. 6 weeks after the discovery of the body, investigators caught a potential break. A brown suitcase was found in the cloakroom of Adelaide railway station. It had been deposited there on November 30th, the day before the body was discovered. Inside the suitcase, a dressing gown, pajamas, slippers for pairs of underwear, socks, ties, a trench coat, a pair of pants with sand in the cuffs, an electrician's screwdriver, a table knife that had been fashioned into a sharp tool, a pair of scissors with sharpened points, and a stenciling brush typically used by merchant seamen. Detective Lean noted that, once again, all identifying marks had been removed. Labels cut out. Manufacturer's marks removed. Even the dry cleaning tags had been carefully excised. The case seemed to be opening up, offering potential leads. But each new discovery only deepened the enigma surrounding the unidentified man. Who would go to such lengths to ensure anonymity? What purpose did these odd tools serve? And why leave a suitcase of belongings behind while taking such care to remain anonymous? January 14th, 1949. Nearly 6 weeks after the discovery of the body, investigators made their most bizarre finding yet. During a re-examination of the man's clothing, they discovered a tiny pocket sewn into the waistband of his trousers, a secret compartment that had been overlooked in the initial investigation. Inside this hidden pocket, a tightly rolled scrap of paper bearing the printed words Tamam Shud. Experts were consulted. The phrase, they learned, was Persian, meaning it is ended or it is finished. These words appeared as the final line in a collection of poems called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a 12th century work that had been popular in the Western world since its Victorian-era translation. Investigators launched a public appeal. They needed to find the specific copy of the book from which this scrap had been torn. Remarkably, the appeal worked. A man came forward, claiming he had found a rare first edition of the Rubaiyat tossed into the open window of his unlocked car on the night of November 30th. The same night the suitcase was left at the train station, and the night before the body was discovered. The back of the book revealed a telephone number, along with what appeared to be an encrypted message, a series of seemingly random letters. The code has never been broken. Reporter William Turner, who covered the case for the Adelaide Advertiser, wrote, In my 30 years of journalism, I've never encountered a case where each answer only leads to more baffling questions. It's as if we're being taunted by the deceased. The phone number found in the back of the book led investigators to a young nurse living just a half-mile from where the body was discovered. For purposes of this documentary, we'll call her Jillian. When detectives visited Jillian's home and showed her a plaster cast of the unidentified man's face, witnesses reported that she appeared to recognize him, but denied any knowledge. She seemed, in the words of one detective, completely shocked, as if she was seeing a ghost. Jillian claimed she had given a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man named Alfred during the war, but insisted she didn't know the man found on the beach. Investigators noted that during questioning, she appeared nervous and evasive. Further investigation revealed that Jillian had told neighbors she was from Tasmania and had no family. Yet records indicated she had a son whose father's identity remained undisclosed. Some researchers have suggested the child bore a striking resemblance to the unidentified man, including sharing a rare dental anomaly, a missing lateral incisor with the adjacent teeth meeting to close the gap. When pressed about these inconsistencies, Jillian requested that her connection to the case be kept out of the public record, citing national security concerns, a curious statement that immediately sparked speculation about espionage. The mysterious code found in the back of the Rubaiyat consisted of 5 disjointed lines of capital letters. Rigobabt, Mliawi, Tpimpanip, Mliaboayak, Itzumskop. For decades, this code has confounded the world's top cryptographers. Some believed it to be a one-time pad cipher, a virtually unbreakable encryption method popular among spies during the Cold War era. Others suggested it might be the first letters of words in a message, or perhaps a lover's note. The timing is crucial to understanding the context. 1948 marked the beginning of the Cold War. The Soviet Union had recently blockaded Berlin. Communist forces were advancing in China, and Australia had just been revealed as a target of Soviet espionage through the Venona Project, a counterintelligence program that had uncovered extensive Soviet infiltration of Western governments. Professor Alan Williams, a historian at the University of Melbourne, explains, "The late 1940s was a period of intense espionage activity. Australia's strategic location and involvement in British nuclear testing made a prime target for intelligence operations. The lengths taken to conceal this man's identity align with tradecraft methods of the era. Despite the efforts of military intelligence agencies, amateur sleuths, and now AI-assisted analysis, the code remains undeciphered. It stands as a final communication from a man who took his secrets to the grave, or perhaps a message to someone who never received it." As the investigation stalled, theories about the unidentified man's identity multiplied. The espionage theory gained traction as the Cold War intensified. The man's physical condition, the careful removal of identifying features, the encoded message, and Jillian's apparent concern about national security all pointed toward a clandestine operative who may have been eliminated to prevent defection or exposure. The poison angle remained compelling. The pathologist noted that many of the man's symptoms matched those of certain plant-derived toxins that would have been undetectable by 1948's forensic methods. These poisons, which affect the heart while leaving few traces, were known to be used by intelligence agencies of the era. A third theory centered on a romantic entanglement. Perhaps the man was Jillian's former lover, returned in inconvenient time, posing a threat to her new life. The proximity of her home to the discovery site, her reaction to seeing his face, and the poetry book's romantic associations all supported this possibility. In 2011, a woman came forward claiming her mother had told her that Jillian had indeed known the man, that he was a spy who had gone too far and was killed by unknown agents. This claim, while unverifiable, aligned with whispers that had surrounded the case for decades. Regardless of which theory one favors, the central question remains: why would someone go to such elaborate lengths to conceal a man's identity, yet leave deliberate clues, the suitcase, the book, the code, that seemed designed to be found? In 2021, after years of legal battles, authorities finally exhumed the body of the unknown man for DNA testing, a technology unavailable during the original investigation. Initial results have been inconclusive, but research continues. Genealogical databases have offered new avenues for investigation. In 2019, a team of researchers claimed to have potentially identified the man through familial DNA matching, though official confirmation remains pending. The cipher continues to attract attempts at decryption. Modern computational methods have yielded intriguing patterns, though no definitive solution. Some researchers believe the code may be a form of microwriting, where the shapes of the letters, rather than the letters themselves, hold meaning. Perhaps most telling is what Derek Abbott, a professor who has studied the case for decades, observed. The most mysterious aspect of this case isn't what we don't know. It's what someone went to great lengths to ensure we wouldn't know. On Somerton Beach today, there is little to mark the spot where one of criminology's most baffling mysteries began. Tourists stroll along the same sand where a nameless man drew his final breath over 70 years ago. His grave in West Terrace Cemetery bore only a simple marker for decades: the unknown man. In recent years, a more elaborate memorial has been erected, acknowledging the worldwide fascination with his story. The Tamam Shud case reminds us that in an age where it seems impossible to disappear, some secrets manage to endure. It speaks to our fascination with the unexplained and our human need for resolution and answers. The final words of the Rabayat that are found in his pocket seem hauntingly appropriate. Tamam Shud, it is ended. But for those captivated by this mystery, it is anything but ended. The questions continue. The theories multiply. And somewhere, perhaps, the truth waits to be discovered. If you have theories about this case, or know of similar mysterious deaths, share them in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos about unsolved mysteries, hit subscribe and let me know what cases you'd like explored next. Until next time, remember, some questions may never be answered, but that never stops us from asking them. Behind every unsolved mystery is a story that matters. Subscribe and help keep their stories alive.